Good evening. My narrative is called How Learning About Asperger's Has Changed My Life. I didn't know why Charlie's gift was written on the calendar. When the day came, I was still wondering, but Mom and I had to leave the house to go to our appointment at the small white building in the back of the Charter One Bank. I saw the words Autism Center on the door of Charlie's gift and wondered what autism was and why I was there. I didn't know if it was bad or good to be here, but before I could continue my thoughts, we went to a room that would later change my life. When we got in the room, a woman named Miss Sally started talking to my mom and me. At first, I was confused, so I started zoning out because that is what my brain does when I'm confused. But part of my brain was still listening when I started hearing about the autism spectrum. When Miss Sally started explaining Asperger's, a point on the autism spectrum, I suddenly realized that that's me. When Miss Ellie left the room, I said, "I think I have Asperger's," and my mom agreed. I finally had discovered something about myself. I felt great knowing I had an answer to why I did what I did and why I felt certain ways. Miss Ellie returned and gave my mom information about a group she had for people with autism. I was excited for the chance to meet other people with autism who were just like me. Until now, I felt misunderstood and like I didn't belong. Meeting others with Asperger's is nice because I get to meet other people like me. I get to find out more about Asperger's. I have joined 3 groups for people with Asperger's. The groups I've joined aren't really for learning. We just have fun and try to socialize. We played games or gone bowling or even just gone to McDonald's. In addition to the groups I've joined, I've read a lot of books about Asperger's that my mom bought me so I could learn more. For example, there are also some things that impact people with autism that don't impact me, such as not having a sense of humor or being overly sensitive to noise, smell, or lights. However, there are a few examples of struggles I do share with other people with Asperger's. One thing I've learned is that people with Asperger's have trouble starting conversations because we don't know what to say. For example, in Look Me in the Eye, the author says neurotypicals, people without Asperger's, have automatic skills on how to start a conversation, but people with Asperger's don't really have those skills to understand and read people. This is hard for me because I don't know what to say to start or join a conversation. Also, people with Asperger's have trouble making friends even though we want to make friends. Because of this, we are often alone. This is something that makes me feel sad because I want to have friends to hang out with. Unless someone comes up to me and says, "Do you want to be friends?" I don't know how to make friends. People with Asperger's have a hard time going with the flow. One of the books about Asperger's said we like to keep everything the same, stick to a schedule. We usually have a hard time coping with change. I've also noticed it's hard for me to switch gears. When we just finished a topic and changed the subject, I might still be thinking about the previous discussion. I know that I have to ask a lot, what are we doing? It's not that I'm a slacker. I just have a hard time with transition between activities. Something else I have learned is that people with Asperger's see the world differently than others. One way to explain it would be that most people see the big picture and we focus on a detail, like the time I was orienteering with my Boy Scout troop. Orienteering is going on a hike, and while using a map and compass, each hiker must try to find certain trail markers along the landscape. I saw a dot of red in the middle of a marsh that turned out to be the last trail marker we had to find. I was the only scout who saw it. Sometimes it's a good thing to pay attention to the details, but at times it makes it hard for me to move past something that bothers me. An example where my dwelling on details is not good would be if math class ended in the middle of figuring out a problem. I would want to spend whatever time it took, whether it would be 10 or 20 minutes, to figure out the answer before moving to my next class. Learning that I have Asperger's has really changed my life. Since that life-changing day, I have done many things to learn even more. I've joined autism groups to see how other people deal with having autism, and I read many books relating to Asperger's to find out more about this disorder. I hope letting others know about Asperger's will change my life even more because those around me may be more accepting of my quirks, which are peculiar actions or behaviors. I am sure this presentation will help explain my mannerisms over the last 2 school years here at Congress Park. I would like to help people without autism understand people with autism, so people with autism will be less likely to be bullied and teased because they are different. Another thing that would be helpful for me is if I get confused during a transition to a different topic in the classroom and I ask for one's help, please just answer my question because it really is legitimate, even though I may be asking something that seems obvious to you. One of the hopes for the future, now that I know I have Asperger's, is to go to the Illinois Math and Science Academy, IMSA, for high school. I took a class there last summer and I really felt like I belonged. Asperger's is only a small part of me. I want to try not to have autism impact my life. I want people to see me not as an abnormal person, but as a unique individual who needs help making friends.